Good afternoon. You can feel free to keep eating, and frankly, I paid for all the food, so please don't leave any cold cuts out there. I'm suggesting it to Steve. I mean, he'll be working through it pretty well. So, the Center for Immigration Studies has been presenting this journalism award since 1997. We have named the award in honor of Eugene Katz, who was a former board member of the center. He's now deceased. He'd worked on both sides of media. He had been on the journalism side and the reporting side and the business side. He'd started as a young reporter in 1928, apparently, at the Daily Oklahoman, and later joined the family firm selling broadcast ads and owned radio stations, managed radio stations. Our intention for the award was not so much to, promote our particular perspective on immigration, but rather to promote and highlight more and better debate and discussion of an issue that's so important to our country's future. There's a lot of policy debates that are complicated, health care, what have you, but usually you get a lot of kind of varied and often good reporting on them. The problem with immigration is that so much of it, even more than other issues, reporting is just formulaic and predictable, with Snidely Whiplash curling his mustache as he figures out new ways to oppress a noble newcomer from south of the border. There was only 1 year that we didn't, since '97, that we just couldn't find anybody to give the award to. There just wasn't anything worth highlighting. Unfortunately, a couple months after that, 19 foreigners who should never have gotten visas flew planes into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, and then there was a lot more reporting, surprisingly enough, on immigration after that. Although, frankly, I think we've drifted back somewhat to the Snidely Whiplash approach to covering immigration. But I think one of the reasons for the better and more reporting on immigration is not just the increased seriousness that people accord it because of 9/11 and related events, but really also, I think, new media and the entrance of new people into covering immigration. And our speaker, our keynote speaker is, I think, an example of that. Michael Volpe has written for a number of publications. He's written for Big Government, which is one of the Breitbart sites. Also now writes a lot for the Daily Caller. He's in Chicago, has worked with one of our analysts, Jessica Vaughn, who isn't here today, who covers a lot of these law enforcement related issues. He's covered a lot of the interactions between law enforcement in the Chicago area and immigration, and it's really been outrageous. They're sort of refusing to hold suspects for immigration to arrest, this kind of thing. It's just ridiculous. Mike has done a lot of good work on that, and he comes from a non-traditional background. He was a financial analyst, a mortgage broker, and believe me, if you think the journalism business is in trouble, imagine the mortgage and real estate business. And interestingly enough, both our honoree and Mike are involved in that. Sarah Riley, who I'll be talking about briefly, covered real estate, and Mike was a mortgage broker. So journalism is apparently the thing you enter once the mortgage business fails, and then we'll hire you after that, because our senior research fellow, Jerry Kammer, is a Pulitzer Prize winner, which doesn't mean you get to keep your job in journalism anymore. So I don't know, I guess nonprofit think tanks are the fallback strategy for employment. Anyway, Mike's going to give us some of his thoughts about the immigration issue and related things. After that, I'm going to introduce Sarah, present her the award. She'll say a few words, and then after that, I'll encourage some questions and Q&A. So the point is, if you have questions or what have you, hold off until afterwards so that we can move the program along. Mike?